find that purely because of what we found elsewhere. So when we come to do centre section and wings, we're expecting we're going to have spars to replace because of the nature of where the aircraft's flown, how it's been stored, and the lack of protection that Avro's put into it when they built it. I mean, when we come to look at having spar extruded for ours, we will have to do a change in material. And because that material is spar, we have to get our stress house to do the calculation. We will suggest them a material, they will come back to say yes, that material is fine, or no, look again. We'll eventually come to a material, and then we have to send that all off to the CAA. They will look through it all and they will certify, because it is a major modification, they will certify if that material is good enough to use or not. It's most likely, we have looked into it, because obviously we've got to, it's most likely we'll use the same material that Airbus use on their spars.
But your restrictions are higher than theirs, aren't they?
It's easier for us because we have to have our own A821 stress company which we use to do the work. They're paid very well to do the work, so it's in their interest to get the work done and out the door to get the funds for doing the work. So provided we can find a modern material to replace the original, a modification is relatively simple.
It's good enough for them.
Yeah.
You know, on the island, you use flush riveting. Is that standard? Because everywhere else it's all.
So the aileron is predominantly flush rivets because it has a fabric covering over the top.
Right.
If you use domed rivet, it would wear away the fabric. The Manchester use flush rivets everywhere.
And the Spitfire.
And Spitfire, yeah. Flush rivet takes a lot longer to put in than a domed rivet, because to put a flush rivet in you have to dimple the skin and you have to dimple the structure underneath the skin to put the flush rivet in. So Avro's quickly moved over to using dome-headed rivets and saved that time required, but they lost the speed that you gain by using the physical airspeed you gain by using a flush rivet. So that's why we know on that Lancaster section we have over there that it started off as a Manchester and finished as a Lancaster, because it crashed as a Lancaster but it's got flush rivets. So it came off and it started as a Manchester. Yeah. Okay, any other questions?
What are you doing next winter? Just a review.
Retiring.
Going on holiday.
So next winter we are expecting to do the rear fuselage section. So the stringers that we needed to order to do it this winter but weren't going to come in time are finished, and they've come off the production line, they're waiting to come to us, and that's so that we've ordered the stringers for the fuselage and the fin posts for the fins, and that's cost about £7,500 to have those, plus the shipping to get them over. So when they arrive, the longest one is 18.5 feet. And that runs all the way from the rear section here all the way up to the transport joint, and that's why we couldn't make them in the UK. So once they arrive, that's another tick in the box. Another problem we have with doing the rear fuselage is the top thin skins, but they run the whole length as well, so they're like 18.5 feet long. In order to get an 18.5 feet long skin produced, it was going to cost us £5,500, I think it was, for a skin. So if we don't want to go down that route, we then have to put a modification in, costing £300 or £400 to put a cut and a joining butt strip to have two skins rather than one long one. So once we decide and overcome that, other than paint stripping on the inside, there's nothing that could really stop us or slow us down from doing the rear section next winter. I say, so I stood here now in March. Any other questions?
Last question about funding.
Yep.
Your motive for doing it the way you're doing it, is that so at the end the most people can access it at the best affordable prices rather than the corporate sponsor taking the project on and pushing certain people out of the way? Is that why?
I would be more than happy if someone were to turn up with a cheque for £4 million today and wait 5 days for it to clear if I can get to our local bank to cash it. Corporate sponsorship at the moment is almost a dead end, certainly in the last few months because of Brexit and people not wishing to spend money. So we haven't looked at corporate sponsorship really in too much depth. Everything up to now, from purchasing the aircraft in the early 80s to getting a taxiing to everything we've done up to date has been done by the operating of the museum business effectively. So it's paid for itself, people coming and buying things in the shop, having a taxi ride, people donating any money that they want to donate, or being a Rivet Club member or anything like that. Everything we've done so far,
people on a sense.
yeah, that's it, yeah. What we certainly wouldn't do is a big corporate sponsor come over and say, yeah, I'll pay you £4 million to do it, but for the first 2 years I want to be able to dictate where it's going to fly and I want to take up my mates around. We wouldn't do that, because that is completely against why we're here in the first place, everything that we're doing in here. I mean,
It's a memory, it's a memorial, isn't it?
that's it, yeah. Although it's a privately owned aircraft, it is to a certain degree the people's aircraft, because anyone can come and have a look at it, anyone can experience a ride on it, come and have a tour on it. We want it to be accessible to the public, so we don't...
Very noble and a good way to do it.
Thank you.
That means most people can access it.
Yeah, it's, as has been said, it was bought, and the whole thing is set up as a memorial to one member of Bomber Command who was our family member, and everybody else who served in Bomber Command as well. So the reasons it's set up for are, I mean, I didn't do it, my family, my grandfather and great uncle set it all up, and when I look at what they did, why they did it and what they achieved, it astounds me, let alone anybody else who's looking at it from the outside, shall we say. And I'm certainly not going to be involved in destroying anything that they've achieved so far, or detracting from what they've done and why they've done it. So